Welcome back to Northwest City Politics in the Know with Juanita. We're glad that you're joining our show again. It's been a little while, so we're glad that you're back to your interest in what's happening in the cities in CCX's viewing area. If you haven't watched our show before, each week we'll have someone on from one of the 9 cities that can tell us about what's happening with the city council and your mayors and your city staff. What are they working on, or what are they planning to work on? Now, if any of the issues we're talking about tonight are of interest to you and you live in New Hope, be sure to take down John Elder's phone number and email so you can be in touch with them. If you're from one of the other cities and it's still an issue that interests you, contact your own mayors and city council and get your thoughts and ideas into the process. We're very happy to have John with us. It's been a little while since we've had you on, so I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to let you introduce yourself. We're very happy to have John with us. It's been a little while since we've had you on, so I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to let you introduce yourself out to our wider audience.
My name is John Elder. I am a city councilman for the city of New Hope. I've been on the council since 2007. I've lived in New Hope since 1988, and a wife and 3 children, all through the 281 schools, all grown and moved out, and really enjoy serving the city of New Hope and its residents. Absolutely.
Now, we thought we'd start out with a little road construction that people might be wondering what's going on. Because if you take Winnetka Avenue from about 42nd all the way down into Golden Valley, there's lots of construction going on. And I thought maybe you could tell who's involved in that construction and what are they trying to accomplish.
I get asked this 3 times a week at
I
least.
would think so.
CenterPoint Energy is it's their project.
Right.
City of New Hope, City of Crystal, and Hennepin County are all a part of this process. Hennepin County is rebuilding their sewer catch basins. The City of New Hope and Crystal are redoing their manhole covers.
Right.
And CenterPoint Energy is replacing a 24-inch high-pressure gas line that literally cuts right down Winnetka Avenue from 694 up past 55.
Yeah, it goes a long stretch,
It
right?
does, and they're upgrading that to provide better service to the communities.
And then that's the time when cities can also do any particular work that they need in that same area, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And as long as those roads are being torn up, it's very, very helpful for us to be able to get in and get that work done at the same time.
Now, one of the major items going on today is the COVID-19 virus pandemic.
You bet.
And so I thought we'll start off by finding out what has been New Hope's response to that. What are some of the things New Hope has done in regards to that?
The real focus for the City of New Hope has been safety for employees and for the public.
Right.
While still keeping the city afloat and keeping it moving. And I applaud city staff. I applaud our directors and the city manager for finding ways to make this happen. They found ways to allow people to work remotely with enough checks and balances and to make sure that things are getting done and keeping city business happening. We started staff, we shut down City Hall in mid-March.
Right.
And towards the end of April, we started looking to get it back opened again. Most employees were working from home. Essential police, fire,
Right.
public works, those folks still came in.
Right.
And I mean, we needed to deal with water main breaks. We needed to respond to 911 calls.
Oh, right.
And so we were able to go ahead and keep those things moving while other people were able to tap into the servers from their homes to do their jobs.
And that takes a while to organize and figure out what works and what doesn't work and
Oh, yeah.
how to make it all happen.
And it does. But the safety of, again, the employees
Right.
And well-being of the public
Important.
certainly takes precedent.
Oh,
so,
right.
So things go a little slower, and we find out really how to work from home. We find out how to do it appropriately, because it's not easy.
No.
I am not a guy who can work from home. I mean, I'll tell you,
I think it'd be hard.
I could get sucked onto that couch and nap time easily. So yeah, it's people need to, number one, learn how to do it. Number two, learn how to do it effectively. And our staff, based upon their work product and workload and things that they were putting out, it seems like they were all working really hard. And it's kind of nice to be able to work from home.
Right.
You know, you don't have to make sure that you're up and showered and you know and in good clothes, and you don't have to worry about driving into work and all of that. So there are some benefits for the people that are actually doing it. But again, there were checks and balances.
Oh, and that's important.
And that was wonderful.
And then, is there a place that you've provided information for the public about various things in regards to the COVID-19?
Yeah, our communications team for the City of New Hope did just an incredible job, and information went out through the media, information went out through our social media, our electronic billboards were utilized to share and pass out information. Our media partners were utilized to get information out. They did a really strong job making sure that information was disseminated so that people could get the services that they needed, and with as few skipped beats as possible.
Right. Yeah, it takes a while because it's such a big change from what people are used to doing.
Oh yeah, it's, and for people who would normally just come down to City Hall and grab a form, we have people in the community that don't have computers.
Right. Federal money making its way to all the cities. Now, you forget what the letters stand for, but it's CARES, CARES?
Yes, yep. And the City of New Hope received $1.6 million. And that money has been used or is being used for the reimbursement of public safety costs, law enforcement and fire, management planning and response costs, unemployment costs, technology upgrades to accommodate virtual meetings, social distancing requirements, and building and personal safety costs, PPEs, things like that, hand sanitizers. There was a lot that we didn't have because there wasn't a need for us to have it. And now, you can barely go anywhere in public without there being a hand sanitizer dispenser, within every 10 feet. And that's fabulous. That's great, and it is important.
New Hope, like many other cities, holds virtual meetings. And people might not know what's a virtual meeting if they haven't been following it at all. So I thought we should explain that.
It's on a platform, and we're using the platform called WebEx. And there's Zoom meetings and Google Duo meetings, and there's so many different platforms. FaceTime for iPhone users, but this allowed us to participate in city council meetings and not have to be present. And people could log on and watch these meetings. People could log on and participate in these meetings. And again, it was a way to support people that wanted to be active or kept up with what's going on. And it allowed us to continue to meet to run the city. And again, we had a couple of meetings where there were some electronic flaws, and that's going to happen, technology. But you know what, it worked. It worked. Now we're back doing in-person meetings again, and I prefer those.
I think so.
I like to be able to look at people. And I just think there's a better connection there. So I'm thankful for all of the work that the city did to end CCX. Absolutely.
Definitely.
To allow us to do virtual meetings, because there were people that were really more comfortable, far more comfortable, being in those types of meetings.
So it's a kind of thing that you now know how to do, and you've kind of worked out the details. So
Whenever it might be necessary, you can fall back on your experience with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and again, I'm thankful that the folks worked to figure it out and to make it happen. But again, I'm glad we're back in person.
Right. And so people should know that too, that they can come, a certain number can come to city council meetings, right?
Correct.
Well, along with the guidelines for the whole state.
Yep. And when people, if the number is too high for people that show up, there's overflow.
Right.
Over in our Northwoods conference room, I believe it is. And people can sit in there. You're right across the hall from the council chambers. You can see it on television. And so you can still be there.
Yeah, so that opportunity is back in place again.
It absolutely is.
Right.
Again, it fosters communication between the
Definitely.
community and the city, and we're always looking for ways to do that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And now, if you have that kind of meeting, how did people get hold of agendas and the backup packets that you get?
The city has, to my knowledge, always had their packets, the agenda packets, online. And so people can go onto the city's website, which is www.newhopemn.gov, and go onto the city, get onto the city website, click on the city council tabs, and then council meetings. And people will be able to actually download or look at the packet of information that we have. And again, that's about transparency.
Oh, yes.
I mean, people should know what we're looking at. If I refer to a statute or some sort of information, I want people to know where I'm getting this information. And it'll be in the packet oftentimes.
Right.
And if it's not, I try to reference where that information came from. A very educated public seems to be more happy with their government. Mm-hmm. And I think that transparency is the job of every elected official and of every staff member. And New Hope excels at that. I mean, there was a time in New Hope where that transparency wasn't there.
That's true.
And a number of people got elected out. And under Mayor Hempkin, I will tell you that the transparency is large.
Now, she does a good job of letting everybody speak that wants to.
That and it's so respectful, and it gives people obviously a voice. It's so important, and it's one of the reasons I truly respect her, and I think our city has done as well as it has, because there's not so much animosity. I mean, there are people that are not happy.
There's differences of opinions, but
yes,
everybody can feel free bringing their ideas forward and then working out what can work for everybody.
And that was what I was going to say. Not everybody's happy with everything we do. And I get and I respect that. But nobody is belittled. Nobody is talked down to under this council. I mean, under Mayor Hempkin. It is very, very important to me, and I'm proud to be a member of this council. I really am. I believe that things are being done right.
Now I'll switch gears a little bit. Off of Boone, there's a public works building. I should have gone down and looked. What street it's on, do you know?
Science Center Drive.
Okay, Science Center Drive. When you said it, yeah. Okay, but there's a public works building that is also being evaluated on the need for improvement on those facilities. What have they discovered so far? Because this is at the very beginning stage, right?
It is. And we've done a feasibility study, evaluated the space needs, and gotten a proposed improvement cost and a funding source. So we know we do not want a bond. That's not in the cards for us. We do not want to incur that much debt onto residents. We took on a fair amount of debt for City Hall, the police department, both of which we needed. The police department desperately needed. And the improvements to the park. And again, We got a great feedback from community who said yes.
Oh,
we
right.
don't mind about this. Some people do, but
Right.
I mean the
On the whole,
overwhelming
right.
majority people wanted to see these things done. So we're not looking to bond for
Okay.
this at all. We'll look likely at a very scaled down version of what they would like to do.
And so now, what's the next step that the council will take at
Well,
this point?
Interestingly, council members will be touring the actual facility so that they have the ability to review the proposed improvements and see why they are or are not important.
Right.
I've already had my tour.
Uh-huh.
And these are improvements that we can certainly use and certainly need. I worked here, as I said, as an officer
Right.
in 2000 when they did their last renovation, and people at that time felt they didn't go far enough in 2000, and we're finding in 2020 that in fact is kind of the fallout of that.
Sure.
But yeah, so we are going to be meeting as a council at a work session to discuss further next steps. Really, it could be where we're going to do a scaled down version of what they want to do to meet the major needs,
Right.
and not unfortunately be able to do everything. But it will really address the big challenges that they face.
Yeah, you have to kind of weigh in balance.
Well, and we did that especially with the police department.
Uh-huh.
There was an opportunity to do a $1 million shooting range in the basement, and that had been fabulous.
Right.
It wasn't worth $1 million.
Yeah.
And we have another range our officers are able to use for far less expense, and so we voted that portion down.
Right.
And so we'll do the same thing for Public Works. Again, we're stewards of the taxpayers' dollars.
Right.
And we have to be really careful of that.
How old is that building, the Public Works building?
That's a great question. It was originally built in 1979.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that goes back a long way.
It does. It really does. And they take good care of it. Even though the previous city hall, we took good care of it.
Right.
It just, really, these things just get old.
Well, and things wear out, and the need, how you run things changes slightly over the years.
Yeah, and they get a lot of use.
Yeah.
I mean, this Public Works facility, along with our police department, gets 24-hour use.
Right.
I mean, there's an incredible amount of work. So someone can say, it's only 40 years old, 41 years old. Well, I can tell you, running 24 hours, that thing's 82 years old.
Right.
So,
That's true.
So it's time.
So if people are interested, keep a look at your agendas, your city
Yes,
agendas. We'll let people know when you're having further meetings, and then they can follow up if that's an interest of theirs.
Absolutely, or certainly you can email me.
Right.
I'd love to have those conversations with people.
Like I said, we want to encourage you. If this is the area that interests you, be sure to contact.
Please.
And the New Hope Farmers Market is back again. Maybe
It
you can
is.
tell us a little bit about where and what and.
You bet. It's back. This is its 10th season.
Yeah.
Last year, with all the road construction and all the work being done at City Hall and at Xylon Avenue, we took the year off.
Right.
And we did that very cautiously because if you close it down,
Oh, yeah.
you wonder, will it come back out?
Right.
And our residents and our neighbors have been wonderful about coming back. And it's being held in the New Hope City Hall parking lot.
Right.
It's smaller this year. As we started back up and running, we weren't sure if, in fact, COVID would allow us to. We weren't sure really what our abilities were going to
Right.
be. So we're doing it small this
Sure.
year. We probably have 30 vendors, 5 farmers in full swing right now. It's really, it is vibrant, and we're having so much fun with it. So it's our 10th season. We look forward to our 11th next year. One of the things that we're doing this year is because the Cooper Craft Fair
Right.
and a number of other craft festivals have not been allowed to happen,
Oh, of course.
we will have crafters at the last 3 farmers markets. That'll
that's
be
good to
September
know.
19th, 26th, and October 3rd. And so we will have not only the normal vendors, we have 2 meat vendors. You can buy a half a cow if you want. There's obviously the farmers, there's people with flowers, and a bunch of other items that people that would sell. And now we'll have crafters there for the last 3 weeks. So we're excited to welcome them into the fold.
If you've usually gone to the craft fair, keep that in mind. You've got 3 different opportunities.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
And that's good for the people in the community that have the crafts that they want to sell. So
It
you're
is. It's a great way of meeting a need,
Right.
and giving them an opportunity to sell their wares and to come out and do this. And again, it gives additional exposure to our farmers market.
Right.
So we're
and your
grossly appreciative.
people that come to your farmers market get to see all the changes in Civic Center Park.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's wonderful.
Now, scattered site housing is another area that New Hope has done a lot of work in, and I'll let you describe it to our audience out there.
Yeah. The scattered site housing program is where the city will purchase really rundown homes, and they do an evaluation of the home to see if it's a home that should be refurbished and sold, or would this be a home where we would really be better served by demolishing it, demoing it, preparing the lot, selling that lot to a builder, and having the builder then build a home and sell on it. We have had such great luck. We have 7 projects right now in different stages of development. 2 have recently been completed on a lot at 3924 Utah Avenue. That was a rehab project. There was a one at 52 on the 5200 block of Oregon Avenue North. That was a full demolish and rebuild. We have 2 under construction right now. These are exciting ones because they were very small homes that were in really, really bad shape. And we took those down. That's at 6027 West Broadway, and another one at 5300 block of Oregon Avenue North. We have 1 approved. That's the one on Oregon, and we have 1 under review on the 4200 block of Louisiana. We're also working with Habitat for Humanity on a residence on the 8700 block of 47th Avenue North. So there's so much that we've done, and it really helps spruce up our housing stock.
Oh, yes.
As well as it brings in a great deal more in taxes.
Oh, of
you
course.
You have a home that's worth $160,000, and you replace it with a $400,000 home. Tax-wise, we're doing well. Now, we're not making money when we're buying these homes, demolishing them, and selling them to builders. We're losing money on that, but we're using CDBG, Community Development Block Grant money, which we get from the county, to do this, to purchase these homes and sell them off. And again, it has been very large in raising our tax base.
Well, and then it improves the neighborhood by quite a bit, I think.
Absolutely, very much so, and we're excited to have that, because it's almost a domino effect. You have one, you see something get spruced up, and all of a sudden the people around start doing more. And it kind of catches on, and we're always excited. I'm always excited when I see that happen.
Right. And there are some, depending on your income, there are some helps to borrow money for purposes of increasing like if you have to put in a new furnace, or you have to put in new windows or whatever. There are some of those kinds of funds available, right?
Yes, absolutely, and those are available through the city. They're low interest loans.
Yeah, if you qualify.
If you
Some
qualify.
some of them you don't even have to pay back if you live there long enough.
10 years usually.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope, that's wonderful. And again, it helps keep the city beautiful.
Right. And then there's a new tobacco ordinance that you've talked about a bit. Maybe you can explain where it's at.
A whole lot.
And what instigated it.
Yep. In 2019, before any of the stuff started happening with the laws,
Right.
We were seeing a real health initiative come into play. And we decided it was time for us to get involved in this. And our number one concern was to try to keep tobacco out of the hands of children.
Right.
And we re-examined our ordinances and our rules, and we decided to move to the forefront and address this. We raised the tobacco age to be in line up to 21 to purchase.
Right.
People that are going to be selling tobacco have to be 18. It was really difficult. We were finding and we were seeing, and I found this when I was doing compliance checks for the
Right.
police department, that a 16-year-old would go in to a gas station where a 16-year-old was working and buy cigarettes because the person who is selling may be friends with that person,
right,
or may really have not be comfortable telling their peers no.
Right.
So that was one of the really important things. We voted to remove the fruity and candy flavoring of
Right.
tobaccos to businesses that were not 21 and over. So you're able to get more flavors if you're in a tobacco shop, because no one is allowed to enter a tobacco
Right.
shop under the age of 21. And the pushback we got on that, my response to that is that we give them more compliance checks.
Right.
We do send in more underage people. We send in a 17-year-old to purchase or even
Right.
to go into the store.
Right.
And we need to make sure that these businesses are really sticking to their rules
Right.
about not allowing anyone under 21 even in their business, and certainly not to sell to them.
Yeah, so that was kind of an accommodation that over a period of time the council made, right?
Yes. Yep. And it wasn't done without thought.
No, you
And-
had a lot of input.
And again, a lot of input. And so it was very, very interesting. I got a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails on it, and I appreciated people that took the time to get to me on this.
Well, I want to thank you so much. I can't shake hands, so I'll just
No.
wave my thank
No,
you.
a hug is out then, I guess.
And then we'll, part 2 on New Hope issues. We're glad that you've been with us, and we'll look forward to you being with us next week. Bye.